Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I've got the overnight high up here and the overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. So starting off, I started trading at 8 Central Time, which is this area right here as we were making this push up right there. And so I have this uptrend, break, first attempt at a new high, and then what I'd want to do is get in on that second attempt at a new high. Except we unfortunately don't get a setup here. So notice how we have this measured move in play. This bearish measured move is in play. And so when you have a measured move down in play like that and you're looking to buy and then price rejects the EMA like that pretty clearly, that's telling you price is likely trying to reach this measured move down here. So these measured moves, they do act as a magnet because, price will try to test the measured move levels. And so what could easily happen is you tick higher and then get stopped out while price makes that measured move. So you would want to see price actually manage to hold above the EMA because, once again, prices will try to reach these measured moves. And so when they reject the EMA in favor of the measured move, that's telling you probably should avoid buying in that area. So anyway, it did end up going up, though. It's not going to work out like that every time. So we push up here, we make a new high, so now we have uptrend, break, first attempt at a new high, and then second attempt successfully made a new high. And so then here we push lower here, we get this first entry long. There's no way you want to enter long right here. So there's a couple problems with entering long right there. We break out of the overnight high, so that's one reason to look for a reversal pattern down. So because when you break out, price will try to fade back down. Most breakouts fail, they fade back in. And so this is where you would want to look for a reversal pattern, actually breaking out of the overnight high like that. And then also the uptrend played out. When an uptrend plays out, you expect price to make a reversal pattern. You expect price to try to reverse. And so when you just when you have two major reasons to look for a reversal pattern, and then you rush below the EMA, and then you hold below the EMA on a first entry, there's no reason to go long on that. It could so easily tick higher and make a second leg down, or make a failed second entry, continuing to go down and fade the range. So there's really no reason to go long right here at all. So anyway, you want to see two legs down. When you break out, when you say you do want to buy the breakout, you want to wait for two attempts to fade, because that's how price moves. Price moves in pairs of two. Just like you have this two-legged move down here before reversing higher here. Just like you have this two-legged move here before reversing lower, and then also on this small picture here, two legs back before you reverse up higher. So price moves in pairs of two. You want to see two attempts to fade before you buy with that breakout. So anyway, we push up here, we start going sideways, we push up again. It's getting kind of choppy here. We're starting to go into this range. Now we have this push lower here. Now notice this uptrend here. We have these lows, we have these highs. So 3 bounces off the highs. We just push off the highs, and this is really one attempt at reaching the other side. I see this tick higher right there. You can say first entry long, second entry long. To me, on a big picture, that's really just one push down. Now, when you come off one side of a channel, you want to see, and say you want to buy with that channel, and you want to see two attempts to reach the other side if you want to buy along with that channel. Because the trendline rules, just like with the range rules, when price comes off one side of range, you expect it to reach the other side, and then back to the other side, and back to the other side. Same thing with a channel. You expect prices to bounce between the channel. And so, just like with the two attempts for almost every situation in price action, you can expect price to make two attempts to reach the other side before offering a safe entry to go long. So, we have that first attempt, and then notice how this second leg here, like that's like two good attempts to the other side to look for a long. Obviously, it's closing right into the range highs. You don't want to enter on that. But say we had continued this leg down and got an entry down here, that would have very possibly been a good entry down there, depending on how it sets up, obviously. But so yeah, that's a good example. Two attempts to reach the other side before going long. Unfortunately, it never set up perfectly here, though. So now we have two legs up, breaking out of the overnight high, and then price rushes down. So this is clear price trying to fade this range right here. You have the two legs pushing out. That's channel playing out. And so perfect area for a reversal back down. Like at first, when you had this uptrend break new high, you can possibly get a reversal pattern down. Now that you have two huge legs out, you can expect a much bigger reversal back down. So that leads me to this loss right here. I got stopped out. You can see first entry long, second entry long, failure. Now, to me, it looks like a pretty decent entry. Obviously, not all the entries are you're not gonna win every trade, even if it looks good. So the way I was viewing this was, we have the 2 legs out, perfect place for a reversal pattern, and then we got a reversal pattern. We got a first entry long, second entry long, failure. And then even looking at it from this uptrend here, we have uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, failure. But it didn't end up playing out like that. It ended up playing as like a 2-legged break from this, and then getting a first entry short, second entry short, ending up forming a bigger picture failed second entry. Notice how on a bigger picture, these pushes down right here are really just 1 leg on a bigger picture, and then you have, after the 2 legs down that way, you have 2 legs back up the other way. Very typical, 2 legs in each direction. And so now you have a bigger picture failed second entry. You can see first entry long, second entry long, failure, because notice how this break right there, like if you were to draw it with a channel, like you have this right here, right? And then you have this break, push to a new low. Notice how this break is a lot bigger and it's more significant. That's telling you that this is likely just 1 move down. Then you have 2 attempts in the other direction. Anyway, so now it formed a bigger picture reversal pattern. Getting below the EMA, I was immediately able to make up that loss right there. So perfect measured move up right there. We're expecting a reversal back down. It's below the EMA. That looks great to me. So I like that right there. It just made up my loss immediately. It was the exact same target. So anyways, we push lower here. We have this second leg down. Notice these 2 legs down. Price action levels get bigger as more time goes on. So of course, eventually those become 2 legs themselves. And so so anyway, we push back in here and then we attempt to break back out. So we have these 2 attempts to break back out, and that leads to this trade right here. So we faded back in, and then price does what it tries to do naturally. It tries to retest key important levels, which in this case it's the overnight high. It's not just trying to retest, it's trying to break back out, because that's what price tries to do. It tries to break out and then the other side tries to fade, because the whole market is just bulls fighting against the bears. So the bulls are obviously going to expect a breakout and the bears are going to expect this level to hold right here. And so when you have 2 attempts to break out and then you just rush back below, that's a sign that the breakout is failing. Because remember, entering on failures is a very important, very strong thing to do, because when you're entering on failures, that means a lot of people are getting stopped out. So when I'm entering short right here, there's a bunch of longs, people who went long in this area here above these bars, that have their stops under here and under here. So I'm shorting directly on the long stop losses, and I'm betting on their 2 attempts to their 2 attempts to break out to fail and to actually continue with this fade. And so clearly we have the 2 attempts. We have a huge rush back below. That's a sign of a failure. So get in on that. That's a pretty clear entry to me. So we push lower here. That's just 1-to-1, because notice how we had this bounce up right there, and that's at that same level as over here. So I decided to just keep it 1-to-1, so that way I'm not pushing it super far out from that possible resistance there. So anyway, we push lower here. We reach that 1-to-1 target. We retest the overnight high again before pushing lower, and then I missed out on this trade right here. But this was another good continuation trade. So we have those 2 pushes down there, which on a bigger picture is 1 leg down. We had that reversal, and we started this second leg down. And so we have since we had those 2 legs down right there, followed by 2 legs back up, making this new high right there from there, this new high from that high, we can reset the count, and we can get a failed second entry again. And so we have first entry long, second entry long, failure. And so I was not able to get filled because I didn't want to enter all the way down here, because like I said, there was possible resistance stacking up right here. I didn't want to push it out too far, just in case. So look how far I would have been pushing that out if I had entered with a stop. So I tried to use a limit order that way I'm not pushing it out very far. But unfortunately, price never came back, so I could not get filled there. But as you can see what I'm talking about, though. We had 2 attempts to reverse from this resistance level. We're trying to break back out. It's a failed second entry. With the bias, we're clearly fading. It failed to break out, so that's why I like this as a continuation trade. So anyway, we push lower here. We get a 2-legged correction. So now let me adjust this trend line so how it would be at the time. At the time it would be like this, and then it has this break right there. So 2 legs out, we broke. Now the reason I don't like this short right here is because there's a few things. So when you get to the key entry point and then it starts going choppy, that means the bulls are trying to break out and the bears are trying to short off that resistance. And so this means that there's indecision. It's not particularly strong in one way or the other. You know, there's a lot trying to break out where it actually successfully closed out, and then it closed right back in, closed back out, tries to close back in. And so this is just indecision right here. And so when price closes above the EMA, I would want it to just close below the EMA, because if it closes above the EMA after all that indecision, that's telling you, we're not completely sure if it's actually going fully bearish right here yet. So it started getting, confusing and sideways. So it can't even get below the EMA. I mean, it makes you think, how come it couldn't get a couple ticks lower? How come the EMA actually managed to reject that right there? Even though it's a bearish bar and it's really borderline, you can tell that the EMA rejected it. And, there's many situations where I'm okay with entering into the EMA. If you watch my channel, you know that, but you just got to look at the context. It was getting indecisive right before that, so it's just best to avoid it. I would have wanted to actually just close below just to confirm. Anyway, so, because remember, indecision does mean that there's less strength in either direction. So anyway, we do push down here, though. We get to this measured move here. So we reach that measured move. As soon as we reach it, we start getting a bit choppy. Let me adjust my trend lines right here. So here, let me get this. We started kind of going sideways right there, so I didn't want to enter into anything there. Then here, we reach this low right here, this channel low, and then we push off of it. We have this first entry short, second entry short. I wanted to see a more clear second leg. It's not that bad. I mean, it's just a shallow correction here, and so it just kind of looks like it's going sideways. I wanted to see 2 clear legs up higher there before I go short, because since we just came off one side, and remember what I was telling you over here about wanting 2 attempts to reach the other side. You can see that you do have a second attempt there, but it's just, we had a shallow correction down, and then it's just a shallow one back up. It looks like it's going sideways. It's just not perfect. Maybe it's a good scalp trade, but I would just want to see a more clear second leg, something less choppy, because it's just also chopping within, this whole area right here. It's not ideal for just coming off the one side of a channel. You want to see 2 clear attempts. So anyways, we do push on lower here. We break out of the overnight low at this point. So we break out, we immediately start trying to fade. You can kind of see this, there's like a hidden reversal pattern right here, a failed second entry. You can see first entry short, second entry short failure. No way you're going to be able to take this safely. It's completely sideways, choppy, rejecting the EMA every time. That's not a safe entry. You want to see it push above the EMA and then get your 2 attempts holding above, not everything holding below. So anyway, we push up higher here. We get this higher low. It doesn't even touch the EMA, and then we break here. At this point, I was actually looking to extend that there. So now we have this channel extended. It's bouncing right off that channel here. And that's when I got this right here. So we bounce off the key entry point, and then we form a first entry long, second entry long failure. So that's a reversal pattern. It's a reversal from this right here. The main thing is it's not exactly a reversal pattern because we're with the overall trend, but it's a reversal pattern from this uptrend right there. And so it's a failed second entry with the overall trend. And so it's below the EMA. And then notice how you even have this right here. You have that push up, uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, failure. Now you do also have this bigger one right here, which only has this break and 1 attempt at a new high. But you got to look at the bigger picture context. This channel has been holding pretty well for a long time now. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bounces on it. So we made that 5th bounce right here and immediately formed a failed second entry just to retest the overnight low. So I like that right there. Plus you also have that that part right here where I said it has the uptrend break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, failure. So even though we have this larger one that has only one attempt at a new high, that just doesn't bother me because we have all this bigger picture stuff. One little thing like that isn't going to throw me out of the trade. So anyway, we push on lower here. We reach that overnight low, and like I said, like I was talking about over here, not wanting to push the target too far out of resistance. I pushed it one tick out, of course. That's how it came with the stop entry. But say the entry was all the way out here, it would not have been filled. So, like I talk about, I don't mind pushing it out of the resistance level, like maybe a tick or so. But you just got to make sure you don't push it too far. So anyway, now we have this downtrend break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower, and it looks like it made a near triple bottom, unable to reach this down here. But anyway, going into the details here. So downtrend break, we start making this first attempt at a new low. We retest this level here. When you have a sharp move down to the overnight low like that, and it's just a really sharp move down, you don't want to enter that. That's basically just a first entry long. It could easily just tick higher and then just push lower here, which it did more than a tick, but that's basically what happened here. You have a push lower, it doesn't make a target, and then it just pushes back lower, stopping, trapping everyone who went long there. So, avoid entering against these sharp moves like that. Just wait on another leg back and then, maybe get a reversal pattern back higher. So, anyway, we have this push lower, we break, we have a second push lower here. There's no way to even get short on these because say you didn't want to go long there and say you wanted to go short right here. I would not recommend that because it's just a lower high. It's into the overnight low. You might have room to it there, but it's just a lower high. And considering you just bounced off the overnight low, I mean, that's basically pushing against a major level here. So obviously you don't want to enter against that downtrend there, but same thing here. You don't want to enter against this important key level here. So it just made a bounce off that. It could easily tick lower, have a second attempt higher because it could make two legs off of this overnight low because once again it's a major level right here. So you don't want to just enter on a lower high if the previous swing to the other side of the count is right off of the major level there. So anyway, we push lower here, and there's no way to get on these shorts down. We start getting a bit choppy. We push back above. We get this push up higher there, and then we get a small break, new high. No clear signal bars here, but to go short. But then even when you get this lower high, it's starting to get sideways. But the main thing is, from after you get this breakout, which you can see that you have this attempt to fade right there, and then a second attempt right there. Everything in this downtrend right here is part of the break. So I'm not going to consider that right there to be one of the attempts to fade. So the way I view this is downtrend, break, new low, and then first attempt to fade right there. And then I would want to see a second attempt to fade before I want to short with the breakout. Just like I was talking about up here, I want to see 2 attempts down before I buy with that breakout. And then here, I want to see 2 attempts to fade before I short with this breakout down here, not just one attempt and then a really choppy lower high. There's a very good chance that that would not work. And so anyway, we push on down here. We bounce at this point right here. We push back up. This would be a good area for a reversal pattern to push back above the EMA with a failed second entry. That would be a perfect area for it. You would just need room to the overnight low there. But unfortunately, nothing happens. We just get this first entry short, second entry short right there. Notice this right here. So this, I do like this short right here because it's a very clear push off of it. It's a pretty strong push. It's managing to get below the overnight low at that point. Even though on a big picture you would view that as one push higher there. Zoom out, you can see it's one push higher. But you got to take it one level at a time. Downtrend has a break, one major attempt at a new low. You can easily get a second attempt. It's clearly forming resistance right here, and it was used as support the whole day before, so it's not surprising it's finding resistance right there. And so when you get a second entry short off there with a clear signal bar, I think that's good for 1-to-1 right there. Obviously, since it's not, since these 2 legs up are not clearly separated, I mean, you can see the separation, but since they're basically together, forming one bigger leg. Since there's not a clear separation between the legs, I would just do 1-to-1, because in case of price trying to make up a second similar leg like that. But with this bearish bias, I wouldn't be too worried about that as long as you limit your target in. So anyway, we push on lower here. Once again, when you get a sharp spike down to a resistance level, you don't want to just immediately buy. You want to wait on some kind of break, kind of like what I was talking about right there. Same thing right here. Unfortunately, there's nothing there for us. We get this break, new low, which you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Right there, we have a downtrend. It basically breaks right there. It's kind of hard to tell because it's borderline, but you can see the downtrend break, new low. And then ideally, you would rush back above the EMA with a higher low, but the EMA clearly rejected the price right there. So we formed a higher low, but it's under the EMA, so that's not ideal because, you know, it makes you wonder, why is price rejecting that EMA right there? We're very bearish at this point, so that would really make you not want to go long, because very bearish bias and then price can't even get above the EMA. That's not a good sign for going long, those things combined. So now it looks like we're starting to go into this right here. So I guess we'll see how this holds. These highs of this range are obviously not confirmed because it's just one bounce off of it, and then there's no clear holding anywhere else there. So we'll see how this does right here. Let me, so you can see that those two legs up right there. So I'm not gonna take this right there because it's not a confirmed level yet. And once again, you know, we do have two legs down there after that downtrend break, so it's not surprising that we're getting some spikes higher now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we reverse on higher here. But yeah, so if we can get below the EMA, like, this is still a good place for a failed second entry, because price can still reach this measured move here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we stay in this range a while with, you know, the bears trying to reach down here and the bulls trying to reverse on this overnight range. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped in some way. This video is a bit longer than usual. I just noticed we're at 22 minutes. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope it helped, and I'll see you all next time.